Let the record reflect that we reconvene with all members present. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. I want to take a moment to remember a few people we lost over the last couple of weeks. On November 30th, we lost Judy Mullins at the age of 80. As stated in her obituary, she was an amazing mother, wife, friend, confidant, selfless contributor, and community-driven volunteer extraordinary. And that is truly Judy. Lived in Madison for over 40 years, leaving only 3 years ago to move into assisted living. Early in her career, she broke down barriers to become first woman to manage a major market public transit system in Stamford, Connecticut. After that, she moved to Madison. Continuing her passion, she went on to manage the bus division for New Jersey Transit through 1992. And it was at that time that she and her husband, Dennis, purchased Poor Herbie's Restaurant and Pub. She greeted each customer at Poor Herbie's as if she was welcoming you into her living room. Her heart was in Madison. Judy truly loved Madison, showing it through her volunteerism. Madison League of Women Voters, founding member of the Friends of Madison Shade Trees, Madison Planning Board, Madison Parks Commission, Madison Chamber of Commerce, and is a member of the Hall of Fame, Madison Republican Committee, Madison Garden Club, Museum of Early Trades and Crafts, and her legacy will literally grow with time through the Rose Garden, parks, trees, and landscape projects that would not have been possible without her drive and dedication. She's survived by her husband, Dennis, children, Pam, John, Dennis Jr., and William, 5 grandchildren. Donations in Judy's memory can be made to the Friends of the Madison Shade Tree. And then on Sunday, December 6th, 2020, retired Madison Police Chief Vincent Chirico died peacefully with his wife and daughter by his side after a valiant 8-month battle with COVID-19 related illness. This was recognized by Governor Murphy in his message today. He was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1948, but he was raised in Madison. Vinny was sworn, in a way he was born into the Madison Police Department, but he was sworn into the police department as badge number 61 on November 10th, 1969. Through his career, he was promoted to detective in 77, sergeant in 85, lieutenant in 89, captain in 2001, deputy chief in 2002, and the chief in 2004. He retired in 2009 after 39 years of dedicated service to the Madison community. He was also assigned over the years as Detective Bureau Commander, Patrol Division Commander, Internal Affairs Commander, Emergency Services Unit Commander. And during his tenure as lieutenant, he implemented the Madison Police Department Emergency Services Unit in 2000, which is still in operation. He's also a former volunteer member of the Madison Fire Department, joined in 1990, and is a past president of the Madison Hose Company, serving in 97 and 98. He and his beloved wife, Joanne, were married in May of 72. They settled in Madison, where they raised their daughter, Betty, and he was a lifelong parishioner of St. Vincent Martyr. He is survived by Joanne, his daughter, Betty, and her husband, Kevin. He had a true love of Madison, and for those that knew him well, we will all miss that Vinny Chirico smile, just kind of a sly little smile when he was talking to you. In lieu of flowers, they've asked for donations made in his memory to the Madison Police Department, PBA Local 92. And then on Sunday, November 22nd, we lost former Councilman Harold Dodds at the age of 75, passed away due to complications from a stroke. He worked for the Newark Public Schools as educator, administrator, and supervisor for the after-school program and summer youth development program for a total of 43 years. His fondest years occurred during his time as a resident of Madison. During those 19 years, he served on the Madison Housing Authority, was a member and president of the Madison JCs and served as special officer for the Madison Police Department. He served as a councilman from 1986 through 1991 and council president in 88. He is survived by his son, Harold Dodds. And we lost Audrey Spelker, longtime Madison resident, died at her home on December 2nd while surrounded by her family. She was 86. She was wife of the late Arnold Spelker and survived by her 3 loving sons, Mark, Matthew, and Scott, and 7 grandchildren. She was born in Irvington in 1934, raised in Maplewood, graduated from Columbia High School, earned her bachelor's degree from Rutgers and master's in social psychology from Fairleigh Dickinson. She met her beloved husband, Arnold, while ice skating with friends in the Poconos, and the couple were married in 1957, settling in Madison in 1972, where they raised their 3 sons. She was a natural educator, loved teaching children, was a 2nd grade teacher at the Peck School in Morristown for many years. She was a longtime member of the Thursday Morning Club of Madison, enjoyed volunteering her time for all the charitable causes it supported over the years. And she was also a long time an active parishioner at St. Vincent Martyr Church. Let's take a moment to remember Judy Mullins, Chief Vinnie Chirico, Harold Dodds, and Audrey Spelker, and pass our thoughts on to the families that they left behind. Thank you. Can I have a motion for the executive minutes of November 9th, 2020?
I'll move them.
Second.
Already been discussed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And for the regular minutes of November 9th, 2020,
I'll move them.
Second.
any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Welcome all. As we were wrapping up executive, just talking about getting prepared for the potential for a big snowstorm coming. So hopefully everyone is ready. The Borough of Madison will certainly be ready, and you'll be seeing the barricades that created the great outdoor dining spots disappearing. If they haven't already, they'll be disappearing tomorrow, so we can be in good position to clear snow. And speaking of snow in the season, the Rotary Christmas tree sale is over. So if anyone's questioning my tie with Christmas trees, it is not a conflict of interest. I'm out of the tree business right now. And tonight is our last scheduled meeting of the year. So we will probably be adding a special meeting at the end of the month, the last week between Christmas and New Year's. Most likely that Monday would normally be our meeting time. So we'll see if that will be scheduled, but that will be announced. And this is to take action on the redevelopment plan for the half acre on Community Place, where the 14 units of affordable housing would be built. And as the last regular meeting, it should be noted that this is Carmela Vitale's last regular meeting. And we will have a lot more to say on that at our reorganization meeting. But Carmela, we'll miss you here at the table. And more importantly, all the residents of Madison will miss your dedication and hard work. You have been incredible for the years.
I don't know how I'm going to handle it. You know, I'll probably come and look for a Zoom on Monday nights and say, oh, I'm not doing that anymore.
Nope. But we'll track you down. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
We know where you are.
Still zoom in as an attendee.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You don't want me to be an attendee right now.
On that note,
I'll wait a couple months.
sounds good. And speaking of the reorganization meeting, after much discussion, it has been decided that we'll be running this meeting virtually. With the current uptick in cases and the potential exposure over the holiday gatherings, this is the only safe way to hold a meeting. So it will be 12 noon on Saturday, January 2nd, where we will recognize Carmela's service, as well as giving the oath of office to John Hoover and Bob Landergan. So mark your calendars and be ready to attend the special meeting from the comfort and safety of your own home. And other things that happened over the last 3 weeks, since we had an extra Monday in there. This past Saturday evening, right after Mother Nature gave us quite a sunset and a light show that we celebrated the fourth day of Hanukkah, appropriately the Festival of Lights. And so that sunset was incredible. And lighting the menorah. Rabbi Lubin of the Chabad of Southeast Morris County has been leading the celebration, as he said, for 4 decades. That's if you factor it started in the late 1990s, so it touched 4 decades. We had a small socially distant gathering to view the lighting, but many were watching the live stream from home. And speaking of live or streams, hopefully many of you were able to watch the high school production of It's a Wonderful Life. And if you didn't, hopefully there'll be more opportunities to see our student actors and the sights of Madison. It was an incredible production. I think Madison makes for a great Bedford Falls. Certainly would not have made for a good Pottersville. Yes, that was me with a cameo appearance. And no, there is no truth to the rumor that I'm leaving Madison to pursue an acting career in Hollywood. I'll be staying right here. And it's, at least in my mind, it's hard to believe that Thanksgiving was only 2.5 weeks ago. It seems like months in pandemic time. But COVID-19 couldn't stop Madison from celebrating Santa's arrival on that Friday. Operation Santa was a great success through the leadership of the Toto family, Lieutenant Joe Longo, Chief Lou DeRosa, who drove Santa around the town, and so many others. There was no parade, but Santa visited every neighborhood, riding on Geraldine, and the light of the tree was watched by a small crowd who gathered on Waverly, but witnessed virtually by many more from home. And the tree donated by Father George and the St. Vincent's Martyr congregation is spectacular, providing all a sense of normalcy in these very difficult times. For the employee of the month of December, I want to recognize Sandy Emmerich, the Personnel and Payroll Director, has been selected for our Employee of the Month. Sandy has adeptly handled all the extra work related to COVID-19 issues for the borough, involving contact tracing, travel advisories, working with employees on personnel issues, establishing protocol for keeping everyone safe, managing the building and technology enhancements for both worker and resident safety, all while holding her regular assignments, including keeping up with things by working on the payroll at home. So please, you may not be able to come in the building to see Sandy, but send her a message and congratulate her. And we want to recognize on our 25th anniversary, Cindy Weir, our parking enforcement officer. So if you see her around town, give her a wave and congratulate her on 25 years. And I'm going to take a quick drink of a sip of water here. Excuse me. So in my first year as mayor, I created the Mayor's Hero Award to recognize extraordinary effort. And it is a honor to present one tonight, not only to a Madison hero, but now a national hero. So let's take a moment to view this video. And just in case, if you have not seen it yet, you might want to have some tissues close by.
Dear Mazda, I'm nominating my husband, Jason Erdreich, a middle school shop teacher, to be one of your 50 Mazda heroes. He solves problems in and out of the classroom. So, when COVID-19 first shut down the world, Jason saw a problem and he set out in his own unique way to solve it.
But if I separate these into 3 parts, you can also design toys for them to play with. Even though they're small, they are super strong.
With massive shortages of PPE, local frontline workers were desperate for any life-saving protective gear to keep them safe. So Jason rounded up about 15 3D printers from his school, brought them home, and hooked them all together in our living room.
What did you find?
We're good. We're getting close to needing to assemble.
And used an ingenious design to turn our home into a makeshift factory, printing PPE day and night. But Jason wasn't done. Gathering an army of shop teachers and his own students, Jason shared what he had learned and recruited them to join him in his Herculean effort.
That way the doctors can wear them for longer hours.
Like top of the head shots, so it's like more accurate.
Together, they printed over 12,000 pieces of life-saving PPE for hospitals, nursing homes, and our local frontline workers. Jason showed the community how to care, He inspired the one thing we all need during this time,
Good to
hope.
see you, Jay. How you doing?
Another batch of shields for you?
These are fantastic. What a great
And that's
design.
why I'm
Great.
humbled to nominate my husband to be one of your Mazda heroes. Sincerely, Kara Erdreich.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Why are you?
Why am I here?
What are you doing?
I know you really hate compliments, but tough.
Okay.
You did something amazing. You did something selfless and compassionate and generous, and we need more of that in the world. And I'm so proud of you. And I've been keeping a secret from you.
Have you?
I have. I nominated you to be a Mazda hero because you were compassionate and generous in a time when people were afraid. You're a Mazda hero. You won. A Mazda MX-5 Miata, 100th anniversary edition.
Can I? Oh my God. What is that? That's really pretty. Thank you. This is my car?
Yeah, you want
Like,
to
it's
sit?
actually, it's ours?
Yes.
Oh my God. I love you and I'm angry at you all the time.
It's incredible, and it just touches every time we see that. Jason and Carla, thank you for being able to join us. As you know, I was able to be there when you were surprised with the car, and I have to tell you that you know that was not, it was not acting that you were acting surprised. You were truly were surprised, and you know, your reaction was classic. But I think what also touched me at the time was the pride I could see in Carla's eyes as she was saying those words to you. And what is not shown in there is that you drove up in a much older Mazda Miata, that so you've upgraded quite a bit. I did get a suggestion through Facebook that I give you the keys to the town, but I realized it would be kind of anticlimactic since you know, while we are the #1 town in the state, we don't move nearly as fast as a Mazda Miata MX-5. So I won't give you the keys to town, but and I really can't say much more than what Carla had said in the video, but you have made a tremendous impact during these difficult times. For years, you have inspired students in your classroom, and now you have inspired so many across our town and across our country. You are a Mazda hero, and you are certainly a Madison hero. So with that, I present our Madison Junior School teacher, Jason Erdrich, with the Mayor's Hero Award. I think you may have it already. If I can hand it off. There we go.
I do. It was delivered to me on this rainy, cold day. So thank you all so much. It means, I mean, it means so much to myself and both of us, and our dog Charlie's down here too. He was featured in the video briefly, but I just really endlessly appreciate it, and all the support that I always get from the town and the district and my colleagues. And I mean, that's really what made this effort really impactful to our community. And between everybody, the police, fire, our frontline workers in town, I mean, just being able to support me and our teachers to get the PPE where it had to go, it was a huge team effort. And again, I thank all of you for your appreciation. And yeah, thanks so much for honoring us tonight. I appreciate it. And thank you for this. This is going to go right in my classroom for sure.
Excellent.
Good.
Jason, thank you so much. Deb, did you want to?
I'm just gonna pipe in real quick. Kara basically covered quite a bit of it, but Jason hates this, as so many of us do. But I do want to let people know that not only has he done this, but he has reached hundreds of students and brought the STEM level up at the high school and the middle school to enormous amounts. He does robotics, but the fact that his students all were willing to go along with this is a testament to what he can do and how he inspires them. The stuff he designs and gets the kids to do, even remotely, what he's posting, the students are producing. It's amazing. And he's creating a lot of good critical thinkers and problem solvers, and making sure people think about others as well. So kudos to you, and thank you, Car, for nominating him for a well-deserved award.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. And again, Jason, you've the inspiration. And Carla, I know, as you said, not supposed to keep secrets, but I'm glad you kept that secret, and I'm glad you didn't not speak up about what a hero you were married to. So
Okay.
thank you all, and have a great holiday season.
Thank you, everybody. Again,
Thank you.
you guys enjoy your night. Thanks so much.
Take care. All right, now we will move on to reports from committees, and for finance and borough clerk for probably the last time, unless we have a report at our special meeting. Council President Carmela Vitale.
Thank you. That's a tough act to follow, though, don't you think? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, sure is. From the tax collector, I've mentioned this a couple of times in my last reports, but the senior freeze application deadline was extended to December 31st. So any of the seniors that have not done so should bring their forms into the tax office. If you know a senior that maybe does not know about this, it would be helpful just to kind of let them know about it, because this is a great way for seniors to be helped and be able to stay here in Madison. I want to congratulate our tax collector, Chrissy Mailer, for two things. First, she held the annual tax sale last week, and she did an excellent job with that. And then she and Hattie Evans have done a great job collecting taxes this year. Our collection rate for 2020 taxes is over 99.5%. This is extraordinary, given the pandemic and the economy. But I also want to congratulate and thank the residents of Madison, because they were the ones who paid their taxes as well. So, kudos to all of them. The Finance Department wanted to announce that tonight we're going to have a brief discussion on the borough's 5-year capital plan. As I said in the last two meetings, the borough's revenues are estimated to be down about $1 million or more this year. No one knows what's going to happen in 2021. So the 5-year capital plan is just a plan. Sometimes you need to change the plan. The 2021 council has some flexibility when they make their budget decisions in the next 4 months. Keep in mind, we also have a $9 million capital project going on right now at our sewage treatment plant. And we also are going to be working on the plaza and the East Wing projects at Hartley Dodge, which are very, very long overdue, that are going to cost more than $3 million. Now, there's other projects in 2021 that will be funded by the open space dollars. But you know what? It's very hard to imagine how much has happened in the last 9 months. On March 2nd, at our special budget hearing, our Board of Health liaison, Councilwoman Cohen, asked if Madison had money in case the coronavirus came to our area. That was a very, very smart question, because guess what? Unfortunately, the virus did come to our area, but we did have the money to deal with it, because we decided that we were going to set up a fund, and we were going to help the residents as well as whoever needed it. So we've been fortunate that we've been in a good financial position when the pandemic started. 28 days later, on March 30th, we introduced a budget that included $200,000 in funds to help us better serve the residents during the pandemic. Last Friday, this is very interesting, the Bergen Record ran an article on the front page of their local section with the headline, "COVID Ruins Town's Finances." The article then goes on to say that 86 towns have sought approval to issue special emergency bonds to cover their budget shortfalls. Those towns are borrowing money to pay for next year's operating bills. Madison is not one of those towns because of the good financial stewardship of this council and the councils that came before us. I'd like to put a little note in there that Ben Wolkowitz was very, very good in making sure that we understood the meaning of the budget and what was coming forward. For years, we've heard a few people say that the borough has too much money in surplus. Well, thank God we had those reserves. I think the council, the staff, and the town did a very good job dealing with the virus. We worked together to help the businesses in town, and we worked together to help the residents in the town. We were able to do this because we had the reserves. I'm very proud of the financial decisions this council and others have made that allowed us to weather this storm and serve the residents and businesses in Madison. And I would just like to say kudos to Ray Cody and Jim Burnett, who made us aware of how important those reserves and that surplus was. It certainly probably was one of the best decisions that we've made in a very long time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And public safety, Ms. Bailey.
Thank you. Thanks. It's going to be sad not following Carmela next year. But you better zoom in, Carmela, because you can't leave us completely. For tonight, for the fire department, during the month of November, the department responded to 87 incidents, including general alarms, still alarms, investigations, and medical emergencies. They provided 24 fire prevention inspections and 22 smoke detector for resale inspections. And we want to congratulate probationary volunteer firefighters John Downs and Michael Kitsopoulos with completing and passing Firefighter 1 training course at the Morris County Public Training Academy. And the department has done all training and meetings virtually since Thanksgiving because of COVID. Then from the police department, during the past few weeks, the Madison Police Department has been in the process of adopting Handle with Care program under the Attorney General mandate, with each officer being trained via virtual instruction. So the program is this. The Handle with Care is designed to promote partnerships between law enforcement and schools to help provide a safe and a supportive academic environment for children who have been exposed to traumatic events known as adverse childhood experiences, or called ACEs. If unaddressed, these issues can lead to problems such as drug use and depression, and they can have a lasting impact on a child's health, well-being, and academic success. So the way the program goes is the law enforcement officers notify a child's school promptly if the child has been involved in a traumatic event, so that the teachers can mitigate the negative impact rather than unwittingly compounding the problem by disciplining the child for maybe behavioral performance issues because they've been traumatized. The teacher can offer support and provide extra lessons, postpone a test, or refer the child to a school nurse or counselor. Now, this program does ensure that the child's privacy is strictly prohibited or protected. Details of the traumatic event are not shared with the school, and teachers are directed not to discuss the event with the child. And a traumatic event, it can be described and defined broadly as a child being a victim of violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or community, the death of an immediate family member or guardian, the arrest of a household member or execution of a search warrant in the home, being forcibly displaced from a home by a fire, eviction, or other event, or having a family member overdosing or trying to commit suicide. So each school will be asked to designate a point of contact to receive these notices and alert a teacher or teachers. And then finally, the planning board will be meeting tomorrow night to discuss the draft master plan. We will discuss vision and goals and objectives and strategies for land use, historic preservation, community mobility, and the relationship of our master plan to other plans and recommendations. So that will be tomorrow night on Zoom, 7:30. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Public Works and Engineering, Ms. Barton.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Department of Public Works, DPW has been working steadily to remove leaves from the borough streets in anticipation of Wednesday's storm. They've made 2 complete passes through the town and will continue their efforts until the storm hits, at which point they will have to take the leaf stuff off of the trucks and take the snowstorm onto it. Everything is in place to maintain the borough in the event of a large snowstorm. Crews will be dispatched to remove the snow and make sure utilities are safe and secure. DPW also continues to maintain the borough's vehicles, police and DPW. They maintain loaders and trunks for leaf removal, and they have serviced the snow equipment for the town in anticipation of inclement weather. The sewer department has seen daily operation and management, markouts for contractors, basin cleaning, inside and top grades for storms, and sewer cleaning. The engineering department, the Dodge Field restroom building is 95% complete and has indoor partitions, heating, lighting, fixtures, and finishes in place. A final punch list is being completed. Plans to improve the adjoining Dodge Field playground are in progress for possible awards next year. The well AB treatment plant pump repair is underway in accordance with the contract award to Municipal Maintenance of Cinnamon, New Jersey. And finally, the 5-year capital budget protections were submitted and distributed in draft form for review. The road improvement capital approaches have historically been requested early in the year in order for the department to assure these projects are bid and awarded in a time frame which allows the most significant construction to occur during the summer months. And finally, we are going to hear from Claire Whitcomb and Kathleen Caccavalli on the positive changes and actions the Madison Environmental Commission and Sustainable Management took on this year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Community Affairs, Mr. Hoover.
Thank you, Mayor. I only have 2 reports tonight, one from seniors and one from the Recreation Department. For the seniors, the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee continues to research senior center records, studies, and prior surveys to determine the right set of questions to ask in a survey to determine and dimension desires of Madison seniors for services. Key considerations for moving forward with a possible survey were discussed with the following points made. There is a challenge to reach representative sampling of seniors. Publicizing a survey effort can be done through a wide range of channels and the help of community groups such as the YMCA, Library, Thursday Morning Club, Madison Housing Authority, Adult School, and others. The objective of doing a survey would be to understand the needs of seniors post-COVID. Doing a survey now may result in getting mixed input from survey participants, given the difficulty of separating current needs and feelings from those that will exist in the future. Careful consideration should be given to the need for a survey and the timing of a survey. For the Recreation Department, the first draft of the Spring-Summer 2021 schedule has been generated and distributed to the primary sports organizations with the objective to finalize the schedule prior to January 1st. Remaining open times will be offered to secondary groups, for example, outside organizations and rentals thereafter. The current plan is to start the Spring 2021 schedule on Monday, March 1st. Registration for the spring sports is currently available online or slated to open in the near future, and links to the websites for each sport can be found via RoseNet. The indoor winter sports and ski club remain on hold until at least January in accordance with state guidelines. The infield renovations at Barton Park and both Madison Junior School softball fields are now complete. There has been a drastic difference in the ability of the fields to drain after storms. All 3 fields were playable within a day of several recent downpours. And lastly, battling unforeseen changes, the Rosedale Ice Rink will be flooded in the 2nd or 3rd week of December, weather permitting. Please check RoseNet and subscribe to the recreation calendar via Notify Me to receive updates on the rink's availability. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Health, Ms. Cohen.
Thank you, Mayor. Madison completed our annual rabies clinic on December 5th. Approximately 140 doses were administered. Many communities canceled their clinics this year, so the health department is very pleased to have been able to continue this this valuable service. Just a reminder that pet license applications for 2021 are now available. Renewal notices were sent via email and US mail. Those that have not received the renewal application or have a new pet to register can download the forms on RoseNet. As always, a few COVID-related updates. As of today, Madison reports 328 total cases of COVID. 25 cases remain open and are still being monitored by the health department. The Madison Health Department continues to work closely with the school district, providing support through consultation, guidance, and public health investigations. As we've said for weeks now, the second wave is here. Locally, our contact tracing efforts have recently linked several of our new cases to Thanksgiving gatherings and travel. Let us learn from this and make plans for the other upcoming holidays that include immediate family celebrations and minimal travel. On that note, New Jersey has updated their travel guidance. Non-essential travel outside the region, Pennsylvania, New York, Delaware, and Connecticut, is highly discouraged. Those that must travel should follow guidelines for testing and quarantine. More information can be found at covid19.nj.gov/travel. Pfizer has received emergency use or authorization for its COVID-19 vaccine. A second vaccine from Moderna is expected to receive the same authorization later this week. Tomorrow, New Jersey will begin its vaccination program, starting with healthcare workers and residents of long-term care facilities. Further plans for public vaccination sites will be announced by the state in the coming weeks. Morris County has announced 2 new free COVID testing alternatives for county residents. At-home testing kits, which are mailed overnight directly to residents, are available to order via an online portal. In-person testing is also available at the County College of Morris. For more information on these programs or to register, visit the Morris County website at health.morriscountynj.gov/coronavirus. Remember, the choices we make can have a major impact on the lives of our friends and neighbors. They can also impede our community's ability to operate schools, visit vital programs, public services, and stay Madison strong. So continue to wash your hands, use face coverings, practice social distancing, and stay home and get tested if you don't feel well. On behalf of the Madison Health Department and the Board of Health, I wish everyone in Madison a safe and healthy holiday season and start of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you. And utilities, Ms. Ehrlich.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Electric Department, I'd like to start by welcoming Jim Mattina, the department head, back to work from his medical leave. Very glad to have you back, Jim. The Electric Department is proud to report that as of last Friday, there had been 0 power outages since the last council report, a first during my 1 year as the council liaison to utilities. So thank you to the Electric Department for your work to maintain our system in a good state of repair. And let's see how long we can keep the streak going. In the meantime, the Electric Department repaired the lights in the rear parking lot at Hartley Dodge Memorial and has ordered additional fixtures for installation. And the crews are performing maintenance in all the underground transformer vaults ahead of the winter weather. They cleaned up and performed general maintenance at the James Park substation, and they continued to perform inspections for the connection and metering of new private solar voltaic panel systems. From the Water Department, all of the recreation field houses have been shut down and winterized, except for Dodge Field, which will now be shut down now that the Christmas tree sale has concluded. All of the drinking fountains have been shut off for the winter. And the Water Department reminds residents to please remove hoses from your outside faucets to keep them from freezing. Speaking of freezing, as Councilman Hoover advised, the skating rink will be filled in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for reports, and hopefully we'll get some ice skating this winter. That's all from utilities.
Thank you. Any communications or petitions?
None received, Mayor.
All right, now we are on to our first of 2 invitations for discussion, but again, this one is limited to items that are on our discussion agenda or resolutions. There will be another opportunity to speak later in the meeting when you can speak on any topic. And if you want to speak on the topics, which I'll outline in just a few minutes or a few seconds, you can raise your hand by clicking on the hand or if you're on the phone by hitting *9. And note that for security reasons, we cannot recognize anyone listed as anonymous or a call without a phone number identified. When you are recognized and unmuted, you must state your name and address before starting any comments. Failure to do so may result in you being muted or disconnected. Please then state the agenda item or the resolution that you're commenting on. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, but we'll give you a 1 minute grace period and you'll be stopped at 4 minutes. And if you have questions, we will just capture those as you speak and either answer them after your time or as part of the agenda discussions. Anyone wishing to comment, please raise your hand. I'm sorry, I got to go through the agenda items. Hold on a second. So these are the items you may comment on. The Madison Environmental Commission presentation on the work they've been doing, along with Madison's Sustainable Madison's committee report on the great work they're doing. Also, the presentation on the 5-year capital budget plan, and these are the resolutions you may comment on. Resolution 293, which is authorizing a contract with Alva Energy for a community solar study. And Resolution 294, authorizing an extension of the contract for leaf for collection and hauling of designated recyclable materials with Suburban Disposal. This is contingent on funding in the 21 and 22 budgets, and it's initial 2021 is 354,000 and 366,000 for 2022. Resolution 295, authorizing extension of contract for tree trimming and tree removal services with Honor Tree Services, and this is extending the current arrangement through December 21 and is subject to availability of funds in the operating budget. Resolution 296, resolution of Borough of Madison approving 1-year moratorium on annual fee increases for parking permits. It was scheduled to raise the rates this year, but in recognition of COVID-19 pandemic and the pressures put on families, the rates will remain the same for 2021. Resolution 297, authorizing purchase of wildflower seed and supplies for the Madison Recreation Complex meadow. And this is availability of funds from Ordinance 21, 2019, and is not to exceed $8,850. And this is going to follow up after the prescribed burn that will make it possible to create this wildflower meadow. Resolution, the Borough of Madison in support of liquor license reform in the state of New Jersey. Anyone that's brought that subject up with me knows that I'm passionate about this, and it's addressing the fact that New Jersey liquor license laws are long out of date, and it's holding back the health of our downtowns. Resolution 299 is setting rates for the use of borough-owned electric vehicle charging stations for 2021. Resolution 300 is adopting new Borough of Madison flag, and we can show that as we get to the consent agenda. Resolution 301 is a ratifying special event permit use of Summerhill Park by Boy Scout Troop Pack 7 and Troop 7. Resolution 302 is awarding a 3-year contract for leaf removal to Northeast Products of Ledgewood, New Jersey, in the amount of $164,800. And the 3 years is starting with this year to remove the leaves that are now at the Borough DPW lot. And Resolution 303 is authorizing contract with Clark Caton Hints for professional services to prepare historic preservation guidelines to help homeowners and business owners in town. And again, so you may comment on any of those resolutions or the 2 agenda items. And our first resident, Pat Rowe. Welcome, Pat.
There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Pat Rowe, 25 Pine Avenue, Madison, New Jersey. I actually had a couple questions, but before I start, I realized listening that this is Carmela's last meeting, and I want to congratulate her on another, I think it was 9 years now that she's been serving on council. It was great working
15.
with her. Sorry?
15.
Total.
Well, yeah, this is the most current stint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, it's 15 and change because there was that one fill-in job you did too. Anyway, it was great working with her the 6 years we both served on council, and I really missed her sage wisdom and her great knowledge of Madison.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank her publicly for maybe the last time for helping me get my start in politics back in 2004 when I was running for the Board of Ed for the first time. So yes, you have her to thank for me.
Okay. Thank you,
Anyway,
Pat. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Carmela. Thank you, and good health and
Thank you.
many years in your retirement. So the couple things I had first was I was trying to find the ordinances that are up for hearing today, and I could not find them on the Borough page. And I think this is something I asked for in the past. Given now that you can't go to Borough Council meetings, and you used to be able to read the ordinances before the first hearing on the bulletin board, I would really ask that the council make sure that they get put up at the first hearing and definitely for the second hearing, but I just could not find them online. The second thing is on Resolution 296, which is about the parking fees. Although I do support what you're doing, I do have one question, and that is, are you legally allowed to make a change to a fee that was set through an ordinance through a simple resolution? I thought in the past that when something was set by ordinance, it had to be repealed or amended through an ordinance as well. So those were my only two things. And you mentioned the flag, which was my last question, but I'd like to see that as you guys discuss that as well. So thank you very much for your time this evening.
You're muted, Mayor.
And I'm muted, yes. I had nothing good to say anyway. No, I'm sorry. The two ordinances that are up for hearing tonight are Ordinance 41/2020, which is appropriating $250,000 from the Municipal Open Space Trust Fund for renovations and restoration of the east wing of Harley Dodge. And this will be combined with grant money and other sources to finally finish off the east wing. And Ordinance 42 is appropriating $400,000 from Open Space Fund for the renovation restoration of the Hartley Dodge Memorial Plaza, which has been a long-time goal. And again, that's going to be matched up with some funding from the County Historic Trust and other sources. So those are the two, and they should have been posted. I apologize if they weren't, or we'll make it more front and center. Matt, can you opine on the resolution that temporarily holds off on a ordinance?
So this resolution is just for this calendar year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's noted, it dies at the end of this year, and it's our position that we can do this on a temporary basis, given the declaration of emergency and the relief that we're trying to seek through this resolution. And at the conclusion, of course, the ordinance will stay in full effect.
Thank you. And I see no other hands raised, so we will close this part of the meeting and we will move on to our presentations. We'll promote our two committee chairs, and we'll have the Madison Environmental Commission presentation first, I guess, or whichever order you want to go in. Claire, Michael will promote you to a panelist. There you are. You are now a panelist. So.
Okay. How do I view? Michael, do you show the slideshow or do I?
She's got permission to share her screen.
Yep.
Okay. Click at the bottom on share screen if you.
Got it. Okay, do you guys see that?
Yes.
All right. All right, so this is, first of all, a huge thank you, Mayor and council people, especially Maureen, for making this time for us to talk. It's been a great year. It's been a challenging year, as everybody knows. And, you know, we love doing events, and all of a sudden, like, the world shut down. So this is how we started off the year before we knew anything that was going to happen in terms of COVID. We had a really fabulous presentation at the community center where Sustainable Princeton gave two presentations. The first was something I had seen at ANJAC, and it was on affordable housing and how it can be built to passive house standards for conventional costs. And passive house is better than LEEDs. It's like the best thing around. If you've gone down Lewanika and you've seen Joan McCary's house and had a big net zero sign out for a long time, that's a passive house. There's another passive house on Glen Wild. Madison is kind of ahead of the curve in having this in our town. So this was a really sort of groundbreaking talk, and a lot of council people and zoning people came, and we had 10 towns represented. And the second speaker was somebody that the affordable housing speaker recommended, and she talked about the Princeton Climate Action Plan and how Princeton made a plan to get to reduce their emissions by in line with what the state goals are, 80% down by 2050. And I wasn't really familiar with climate action plans at the time. So this was like just kind of the second speaker at the meeting. And it was really something that has shaped our entire year, and I will shape next year. And I'll come back to that in a minute. We traditionally have, or for the past 3 years, we've had a Madison swap at the DPW. People bring whatever they want. It's all free. It's a big community event. And we obviously couldn't have it during COVID. Well, we had 3 volunteers that stepped up and said, let's make this a Facebook page. Kirsten Wallenstein, Kristen Murray, and Violet Wallerstein started the Madison Swap and Share. It went not just from 0 to 60, it went from 0 to 1,300 members. I was just shocked the last time I checked. If you do not belong to this Facebook page, please join. It's like the coolest thing in the world. There's a complimentary post over there on the left that I loved. You can ask for chairs for a party. You can ask for a bike rack to go on a trip. My favorite post was somebody asked for to trade surplus zucchinis for zucchini bread. I mean, I've met all kinds of people. Friendships have been made. People say, I'll walk over to your house and get that. And I didn't even know they lived near me. So it's really been super fun. We also started a Madison plant sharing and gardening page. And Marianne Capallo, who used to be on the MEC and is part of the Madison Community Garden, runs this. And people post about their gardening questions. They say, you know, Bridget Daly is always giving away plants on this. And I panic planted arugula, and I had so many seeds. I gave away arugula seeds left, right, and center. We also have had a townwide yard sale for 3 years. And this year, Chatham asked if they could join in. So we had the Chatham Madison townwide yard sale, and Chatham Township wants to join. We're thinking of doing it next year in the spring and in the fall, because we will certainly not be able to do the swap as a physical event. Native plants, our climate action. This is Joan McCary, our native plant guru. I don't know.
The slides aren't changing, Claire. We're still on the first page.
How is that possible, Michael?
It's like you need to go to the next slide on the screen that you're sharing. All we're seeing is slide 1.
I'm going to the next slide. Did you see this swap and share slide?
No.
All we've seen is slide 1.
Do you want to do it, Michael?
I can't control your computer, so you need to if you must have the document open in multiple locations.
I have it open and I've been going from slide to slide. So
there we go.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
good.
I went to full screen. All right, so this is a swap and share thing. Nobody saw that.
Okay.
There it is. Less waste, more community, post and shop, it's all free.
We didn't see the housing one either. We didn't see anything except the first.
Okay, this is sustainable housing for everybody. Thank you, Kathy.
And this will be posted on Rosenet. So
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry,
so
I did it full screen and I didn't realize it wasn't showing. Okay, so this is our sustainable housing event and the climate action plan. This is swap and share. This is the garden, and this is the yard sale. And this is Joan with her plants. She grew 165 pollinator plants, and I will say that my daughter delivered them and found out where a lot of streets in Madison are. And then this fall, the community garden gave away 200 pollinator plants, and a group of people harvested seeds from the Wildflower meadow, which I was pleased to hear. This is just an aside, but the resolutions that are coming up with Wildflower meadow seeds, community solar, rates for EV charging. I mean, it's clear that a lot of things I didn't even mention are part of Madison, just in ways that are not even directly part of the Environmental Commission. So why are native plants important? It took me a long time to understand this, but caterpillars need to eat leaves. So when you see holes in your leaves, that's actually pretty a good thing. And bugs in our yards are routinely killed by lawn care chemicals. You may have heard that there's a bird apocalypse. Well, underlying it is a insect apocalypse, because birds eat bugs. And one chickadee eats 350 to 570 caterpillars a day. So healthy soil is also climate action. This is Brian Monahan at our Eco House tour. He was not able to give his ABCs of organic lawn care this year, but he's scheduled to do it on Zoom at the library. And the basic thing that sets organic lawn care apart from the kind that the chemical companies do is that it feeds the soil, and chemicals just feed the plant, and it kind of bottoms out after maybe 7 years. But once you get healthy soil going, you reduce your costs long-term, you reduce your work, and you store more water, it filters back into the aquifer better, and you sequester carbon. Soil is being recognized as a tool of climate action. Food waste. Project Drawdown, which is an exceptionally good group, has identified cutting food waste as the #1 solution for combating climate change. The reason is that in landfill, rotting food, even with all those plastic bags, gives off methane, which is far more hazardous than CO2 emissions. Whoops. What we're doing in terms of composting is a drop in the bucket, pardon the pun, but Java's compost, this is Michelle and Java Bradley. They did come into Madison and they're collecting, you can have curbside composting if you don't want to do the backyard version. We sold composters. This is Esther and John Provarnik and Esther's daughter and her grandson. And it's the 3rd year that they've hosted it in their yard. And then we did pumpkin recycling for the 2nd time at the DPW, which helps keep food waste out of the landfill. Plastics. Well, Madison is a leader, and this is really, really thanks to the council and the leadership of Mayor Conley. We are one of 130 towns that passed local ordinances. I think we're somewhere in the 90s. I know Summit was the 100th town that passed an ordinance. And this is an amazing example of how local perseverance led to state action, because basically this patchwork of ordinances overcame the reluctance of the plastics industry and the supermarket industry. And they just pretty much said, let's have a unified state law. Let's not have it be different in Madison and Maplewood and down at the shore. So we had a few challenges with implementing it during COVID. We did a huge reusable bag drive, and we would like to do it again when things clear up. We won an ANJAC Achievement Award this year for the Eco House and Garden Tour. Last year we won for Plastic Free Week, and the year before for the Green Vision Center Forum, sorry. Okay. I'm going to go here first. This is a newsletter we send out that we launched this year. Bridget Daly edits it. Joan McCary writes the this one down on the right that is called What's Blooming in Madison. Lisa Ellis helped us launch this on Constant Contact, and it really has a strong following. I've heard from other environmental commissions that, you know, they send it around and like, why can't we do this? Well, we have a lot of people who are contributing and writing articles and doing anecdotes. And if anybody who's listening wants to contribute, sign up. It's great. Okay, so this is our multi-town partnerships. And this came out of really the plastic bag work that we did with the Chathams. And then we had a multi-town plastic meeting in Madison that Bob Conley kicked off. And we had the Sustainable Princeton talks with all the towns, and we had begun through this to start working together. So starting in October, we had a group meeting that Mayor Conley again kicked off, and we established 5 working groups: green building, green fleets, energy aggregation, which doesn't apply to Madison, but a number of other towns are actively trying to source cheaper energy in bulk that has a higher mix of green sourcing, so that they can combat climate change and help the bottom line of their residents. We also have a Pollinators and Pesticides group, and in Madison, we're hoping to have a mini meadow project where encourage residents to reclaim part of their lawn to plant native plants. And then we have a climate action working group. And climate action is really something that the town needs to talk about. The local climate is changing. One thing that's happening in New Jersey is that there's you get rain, and then you get flash droughts. So we have very high volume rains that make the sidewalks sometimes impassable. And then we have long stretches where it's really a challenge. This leads to increasing in ticks. It leads to heat illnesses and tornadoes, things that I never thought would happen in New Jersey. You know, a lot of downed trees. We've seen it just this year. Okay. So our vision for 2021 is to educate broadly so that a climate lens can influence individual actions and the borough's decision making. This is a carbon footprint from Princeton. Our footprint is exactly the same. It has less colors on it, so I'm showing you Princeton's. The bulk, 66% of our carbon footprint is the built environment. Commercial and residential buildings are the main contributors to greenhouse gases. The other big sector is that yellow sector, that's transportation. Recycling, which everyone wants to talk about, is really quite small. Solid waste is 2%. Leaf blowers are 1%. And Peter Freed, who Kathy is going to be talking about, has done amazing work on Madison's carbon footprint. From 2018 to 2019, we reduced our footprint by 1%, which he informs me is within the margin of error. So it's like 0 to 1%. It's not exactly clear how much that was. But to meet the state goals, we have to reduce our emissions 5% a year, every year until 2030. And what Princeton found is that to get to the point which the state mandates of reducing our carbon emissions by 80% by 2050, they couldn't just do one thing. They couldn't just do a community solar project. They had to do everything. They had to tackle everything on their list or the numbers wouldn't add up. It's really quite a demanding menu. These are New Jersey's goals. This is Nick from Sunday Motor Co. And we would plan to have an EV Expo in November, but we postponed it until the spring because of the pandemic. And Peter Freed had lined up a number of car dealers to bring their latest models. This is Ann Huber's Tesla. I will tell you, it's not Nick's car. So the state mandates 90% building electrification by 2020. My water heater died. I got instead of a gas one, I got an electric one in anticipation of the state's clean energy. So clean energy has to be 100% by 2050, and electrification of fleets is enormously aggressive. 330,000 electric vehicles by 2050. That means a lot of EV charging infrastructure, and a lot of this will be coming down from the state, but we need to sort of work and plan to see how we can be ready and be in alignment. So the secret to climate success in 2021 is really the leadership of the mayor, the council, and the borough administration. And really a huge thank you. You've been great leaders already. The enthusiasm of borough employees, everybody has to be thinking about what they can be doing. You can ask Maureen about the plastic cups that were at the police department. Everybody has to find small ways to make a difference. And I have to say that Drew is enormously helpful. We've had a number of interns, and Lisa Jordan is on Sustainable Madison. She's brought in a lot of students. A class at Drew, a civics class, is working on lawn care and how to message about reducing pesticides for homeowners. And they're going great guns. It's really incredible. And we have a huge team of really enthusiastic people. And so that's it. A big thank you from me.
Thank you, Claire. Great presentation, and I want to thank you, your leadership, and everyone on the committee for the great work you're doing. We need to change the way we are living on this earth, and we can start right here in Madison. Any questions or comments from the council before we shift over to Kathy for the Sustainable Madison presentation? All right, Kathy, you're on.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. Okay. Everybody see that?
No, not yet.
No,
We're still seeing your folder.
it says I am screen sharing. So what was the issue? You can't be full screen?
You want to put the presentation on full screen.
It
We're,
is
we're,
on.
we're seeing, do you have two monitors by chance?
Nope, I don't. Nope.
Okay.
I think you shared an app instead of your screen, and the app that you shared is your document browser. So you need to share your PDF viewer or PowerPoint, whatever file.
Well, I did. I shared my PowerPoint presentation. Is that not going to work?
We're
No.
still looking at
You
your
have to have it open, Kathy.
I did have it open. I went to the file and I had it open. Let me try the PDF. Doop, 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 doop. Does that work?
Kathy, have it open first and then share your screen so you can share the screen with the presentation on it rather than starting it and opening, because what it is it's sharing just the documents folder rather than the whole thing. So if it's open and that's what's on your screen, when you hit share screen, that should be what we see.
And now?
Here it is.
I don't have this problem in any other Zoom meeting.
So now go up and
Can you-
type it out.
Yeah, we do see the slide, but right in front of it is your.
Oh, I can get rid of that.
Yeah, close that. There
Now
we
can
go.
you see the slide?
Yes,
Okay, let's see if I can make it move.
and it's a very good looking group in that slide too.
Yeah, why do you, I mean, the person in the middle, you mean? The tall
Yeah.
person in the middle?
I was thinking shorter, but
Oh, the three short people were short people? Okay. So anyway, I'm Kathleen Cacavalli, proud chair of the Sustainable Madison Advisory Committee. And I appreciate the opportunity to share something about Sustainable Jersey and the Sustainable Madison Advisory Committee. Okay, so now it's not going to advance my slide. Oh, there I see it. Never mind. I got it. I got it. Yay.
there we go. Yep, that worked.
What is Sustainable Jersey? It's a nonprofit organization that provides tools, training, and financial incentives to support communities as they pursue sustainability programs. By supporting community efforts to reduce waste, cut greenhouse gas emissions, and improve environmental equity, Sustainable Jersey is empowering communities to build a better world for future generations. How does it work? First, the municipality must register, which Madison did in 2010. You must establish a green team, which Madison did in 2010. Choose actions from the Sustainable Jersey website each certification cycle. Submit actions. You have to recertify every 3 years, but you can recertify every year if you want to. And then Sustainable Jersey reviews the actions and approves or denies them. Our green team is the Sustainable Madison Advisory Committee. Although we had a green team in 2010, the team was established by ordinance in 2012. The members are appointed by the mayor and include residents and representatives from the council, the administration, the Board of Education, DPW, and the Environmental Commission. Our purpose and responsibilities per our ordinance are to make recommendations to the mayor and council and the MEC to help the municipality achieve sustainable smart growth land use policies, to provide education and outreach, to encourage a reduced carbon footprint, to assist boards, committees, and commissions in promoting smart land use planning, energy and resource conservation, green design, sustainability, a green element for the master plan, and a sustainability plan for the future of the borough, and also to seek grants to help achieve these goals. So our history: we certified bronze in 2010, silver in 2013, 16, and 19. We had the most points for our population category, which is medium size, in 2013 and 2019. We had the second highest points of all municipalities certifying in 2019, and we're on target for silver in 2020 with our highest points to date. Our accomplishments in 2019 included 665 points, 63 actions in 15 of the 18 categories, and 8 of 12 actions that are deemed priority actions by Sustainable Jersey. New actions that we undertook in 2019 were a vulnerable populations heat island assessment. This was done by Lisa Jordan, professor at Drew. Public information and engagement and emergency communications planning, input from Michael Plessier to successfully submit those actions. The community carbon footprint, purchase alternative fuel vehicles, both helped enormously by Peter Freed, who took the lead on those actions, and the community and the companion animal pledge. Thank you, Marilyn. In 2020, I have an update to this slide. We now have 815 points approved. Remember, in 2019, we only had 665. We have 20 points still under review, so we have 73 actions approved. Several expiring actions were updated, including energy tracking, fleet inventory, environmental commission, farmers market, safe routes to school, and tree actions. And we undertook several new actions. We also received a $10,000 Gardenier grant to assess solar energy in municipal parking lots. Peter Freed was instrumental in that, and he and Jim Burnett have been working on it. And as you see on tonight's agenda, there is an item about the consultant they want to hire to continue to move forward with that initiative. We also were happy to we felt we made some improvement in engagement with other municipal entities and organizations, including borough departments and committees such as the Environmental Commission and the Recreation Parks Advisory Commission. So that was one of the things we lifted up last year to try to work on in 2019, to try to work on in 2020. So in the energy and climate categories, we had the fleet inventory, buy electricity from renewable source, thanks to Lisa Jordan's hard work. She tried in 2019, wasn't successful, but in 2020 we succeeded. Purchase alternative fuel vehicles. You saw the pictures of the 2 hybrids, which are supposed to save like 41% over the other Ford Interceptors in the fleet. The public electric vehicle charging stations, which have been installed already. Commercial and residential energy efficiency outreach. Energy efficiency for municipal buildings, energy tracking and management, municipal and community carbon footprints. And a huge thanks to Peter Freed and the interns Max Drucker and Christian Wong. So they gathered a lot of data, as you can see in this flow chart on the slide. And the great thing is that once you've gathered that kind of data, you can then use it for multiple purposes. So you can see all of the outputs, all of the inputs in blue and all of the outputs in orange. So it was and continues to be a huge undertaking. Additional 2020 first-time actions included environmental justice in planning and zoning, thanks again to Lisa Jordan and to Susan Blickstein. Environmental Commission site plan review, environmental assessment ordinance. These were both processes that were already in place that we could just report out on. Improve public engagement in municipal government. Michael Plessier identified that as an action we could successfully submit. Recycling waste, education and compliance. Green infrastructure planning. What we submitted there was one of the Drew interns did a impervious cover assessment. You can see the map in the lower right-hand corner of the slide. And another one that I left off the slide was green building education. We got kudos from Sustainable Jersey for the Echo House tour. They said, your environmental commission is commended for mobilizing the volunteers and homeowners to support this successful event. Also a bicycle and pedestrian audit. We added the bicycle component in 2020. We had done the pedestrian component in 2019. Food waste, Claire mentioned the Java initiative, and that was one of the things that got us the points. And thank you to Angelique DeVost on our committee for taking the lead on that action in submitting it to Sustainable Jersey. Creative assets inventory and utilizing creative assets. So the inventory was the remake of the MACA, the Madison Arts and Cultural Alliance's webpage. And utilizing creative assets is all the wonderful things we do, like the Holiday Arts Festival and Bottle Hill Day and Fall Back into the Arts and Home for the Holidays. And so thanks to Lisa Ellis and Eric Hoffman for helping make that happen. Looking ahead to 2021, we will be updating actions that expire annually. For instance, the farmer's market, or that we want to keep up to date annually. For instance, energy tracking, all that data that Peter has been compiling, wants to keep compiling on a routine basis so that it's not a heavy lift if you were to wait, say, every 3 years to try to find that information all over again. Enhanced stormwater management control ordinance. Of course, that's been mandated by the state to be in effect by early March. So we will piggyback on that and submit an action to get points. Historic preservation element, we're hoping to get that action approved once the master plan has been adopted, and fingers crossed that the remake of the historic preservation element will meet Sustainable Jersey guidelines, because the previous one did not. Complete and green streets, natural and resources inventory. Our last one was 2011, and they recommend that they are updated every 10 years. So we're due. Community-led solar initiatives and municipal on-site solar system. Make your town electric vehicle friendly, to piggyback on our charging stations. Diversity on boards and commissions, climate action plan, green cleaning products, which piggybacks on our green purchasing policy that we already have in place. Health in all policies, professional development. That one was 90% complete this year, but due to COVID, the health department was swamped with COVID related issues and couldn't do their portion of that action. So we're hoping that next year we'll be able to complete that. Lead education and outreach program was also thwarted by COVID, since that was a program Lisa Jordan had lined up to do with the schools, and there was just too much chaos to make that happen, with all of the things up in the air in the fall about how school would even be conducted. And finally, a community water story. So many thanks to the engaged and motivated members of our Green Team, Environmental Commission, and other committees, to our volunteer interns, both at the college and high school level, to the borough staff, to council members Maureen Byrne, John Hoover, and Deb Cohn, and to our mayor. And always remember to keep at least one Mayor Bob of space between you and others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Again, tremendous work that you and your committee is doing, and I think Madison as a whole should be commended on kind of leading the way as you're doing your presentation, and Claire did hers. You can't have an eco tour rather, if you don't have homes to show, and it just kind of feeds back onto each other that we're doing the right thing. Rachel?
I just want to thank you, Claire and Kathy, for joining us for your great presentations. It's a tremendous look back on the work that has gone before, and kind of awesome to contemplate the work to come in some ways. I want to especially highlight the mention of the climate action plan. I'm really looking forward to learning more about how Madison can work with the MEC and Sustainable Madison to develop a climate action plan. And I think the council is, well, I don't want to speak for the whole council, but as a council member, I look forward to learning with my peers about the climate action plan, what we can do to advance this in our borough. So thank you for introducing it, at least topically tonight.
And along those lines, I've been early in the pandemic, put together weekly phone calls with our neighboring towns, the two Chathams and Morris Township, and we have evolved into other topics. And on that, it would be just as we did with the plastic bag ban, is to do a regional approach on an action plan. Any other comments or questions for? All right. Well, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Claire, for taking the time not only to attend our meeting, but to put all that work together, and then most importantly, all the work that created what we just learned about. So thank you, and looking forward to 2021. All right, Jim, you are now up with our 5-year capital budget plan.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to work in two computers here, so we're going to see if I can successfully see what I'm sharing on one computer while talking to another. Looks like everyone can see the PDF document that I have on display here. And I'll be able to zoom in when needed. I'm not going to go into tremendous detail. This document will be posted on RoseNet. It's available for the elected officials. I want to thank Bob Vogel, who's celebrating his birthday today, for all of his work in this document. And Ray gave him the night off. We figured the presentation would go a little faster too. So, sorry, Carmela. Anyway, I want to reiterate what Carmela said earlier, that we are ratcheting back this 2021 budget, capital budget. And last year in our 2025 year plan, we had over $6.3 million in the 2021. We've ratcheted it back to 3.8 million for all of general capital. That's this number here. So that's a significant reduction. We will be able to afford this. The elected officials in 2021, early 2021, the council, more flexibility in terms of determining what to do with the budget, and the dealing with the $1 million plus revenue gap that we're going to have. So it's important to note that while this number still looks significant, it was reduced. However, add $9 million that Carmela mentioned for the Madison Chatham joint meeting, and add $3 million for Hartley Dodge Trustee Plaza and East Wing, and add other open space projects, and you'll see that we still have a very significant and robust capital plan in place for 2021. I'm not going to go into details. I think the most important thing is to have this document out there and available for all the elected officials and the residents to look at. You'll see the road reconstruction. You'll see milling and overlay, stormwater, sanitary sewer, building improvements. You'll see everything. And I encourage the elected officials, as they get their new appointments to the various departments in 2021, to talk to their individual department heads about what's on the list. We vetted every item on this list with each of the department heads. And I encourage you to talk to them about it. And then we'll have presentations from the individual department heads later on in the budget cycle, where we can talk more specifically about this. I do anticipate Bob Vogel coming to council in early January for the road reconstruction program. And I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit, if I can, bear with me here, just so we can see the areas that are under consideration for 2021. Cook Avenue, Anthony Wayne, and Green Avenue bump outs. Green Avenue bump outs are going to be paid for by a grant. And I just want to show that we will be coming to council, maybe not the first meeting in January, maybe it's the second meeting in January where we come to council requesting the introduction of the road programs, both the road reconstruction, and I'm going to toggle here real quick to the milling and overlay. These are the roads that are on the milling and overlay for 2021. So we'll be coming to you in early January seeking approval for a funding ordinance for both of these. And I feel comfortable, and Ray feels comfortable, that we can fund this 2.6 million. I'm going to toggle back to the beginning here, so I'm whipping all around. That we can fund these two lines here, still have the manageable $3.8 million in capital, and still give council plenty of flexibility and options on the budget decisions that need to be made later on in the year. So I'm not going to go into any more detail other than that, to have you to present this document to you, have it, it'll be available on RoseNet for anybody that wants to see it. And we'll take questions now, or more importantly, over the weeks and months ahead.
So thank you, Jim, for a good overview on the capital budget for 2021 and beyond. To remind the public that municipal financing is kind of strange, that normally if you had a business, you'd have approved the budget for the coming year and the prior year. But in the government world, you have to have the sitting council or elected body to approve the budget. And so we will be not approving this until the next year. But what we have been doing for a good number of years now, with the help of our long-term council members, is, as you mentioned, doing the road reconstruction and the milling contracts, get them out on the street as quickly as possible. So we're ahead of many other towns. And so I think this is good to be scaled back, but it's still a very ambitious capital budget. And as Carmela did in her report, there are some towns that are looking on, how are they going to survive in this pandemic world? And we are still able to maintain our great infrastructure. Other comments or questions from the council? All right. Well, thank you very much. And this will be on RoseNet for everyone to see. And now we move on to ordinances for hearing. Will the clerk please read the statement?
Ordinances scheduled for hearing were introduced by title and passed on first reading at a regular meeting of the council held on Monday, November the 23rd, 2020. They were posted and filed according to law, and copies were made available to general public requesting same.
I call up ordinance 41, 2020. Please read ordinance by title.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $250,000 from the Municipal Open Space Trust Fund for renovations and restoration of the east wing of the Hartley Dodge Memorial.
And
sorry.
Yep. This is now the time for public. I open the hearing for ordinance 41-2020. Please raise your hand if you want to comment on this ordinance under the same rules as stated before. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Okay, Mayor, I move ordinance 41-2020.
Now second.
Any council discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich?
Yes.
I declare ordinance 41-2020 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice thereof in the newspaper and follow the ordinance in accordance with the law. Ordinance 42-2020.
Ordinance of the Borough of Madison appropriating $400,000 from the Municipal Open Space Trust Fund for renovation and restoration of the Hartley Dodge Memorial Plaza.
I open the hearing on ordinance 42. Anyone in the public, please click to raise your hand. Seeing none, I close the hearing.
Mayor, I move ordinance 42-2020.
A second.
Any council discussion? Ostrey.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I am thrilled that we are supporting Ordinance 41 and 42. It's long overdue that we're fixing this historic building and getting full use out of it. And obviously, it's very important to get the plaza fixed so people can walk in safely to this beautiful historic building. Thank you.
Amen. And appropriately that it's done in Carmela's last meeting, that she can
Yes.
check
isn't it
another thing off the list.
Yeah. Take you off
Rachel.
my list. Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Austri, and you, Carmela, for your leadership on this. It seems like one of those things that is like impossible to get traction and finally see it happening. And it's thrilling to be on the brink of going forward. And just thank you for being committed to seeing this through and getting us to this point. So thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Any other comments, discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Vitale,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Ehrlich.
Yes.
I declare ordinance 42-2020 adopted and finally passed, and ask the clerk to publish notice there in the newspaper and file the ordinance in accordance with the law. And now we're on to our second of two invitations for public discussion. This is when you may comment on any topic under the same rules as before. Raise your hand, or if you're on the phone, hit *9. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, but we will give you a 1 minute grace and stop you at 4. Anyone wishing to comment? And we will welcome back Pat Rowe for comments.
This unmuting thing is confusing me.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 25 Pine Ave, Madison, New Jersey. Again, I wanted to thank Claire and company for the presentation they made tonight about the climate. And I was watching it and thinking about the talk about the move to electric. And I think the borough is going to have to seriously start to consider a few things if that is going to happen. The first is that one of two things is going to happen. Either people are going to have to move to more solar on their roofs, or we're going to put a greater strain on our distribution network, or possibly both. So I think Madison should start to plan for what that's going to look like. California has already mandated, I believe, that all cars sold in the state after 2030 have to be electric. I would expect New Jersey might follow sometime in the near future. And it would take quite a bit of energy to upgrade our distribution network if that's going to happen. On the other hand, if people move to solar, as we all know, the electric utility greatly impacts the finances of the borough because of the surplus that it throws off. If we suddenly had people primarily producing their own electricity, that would put a serious pinch on our surplus. So I think the borough should really start to think about those two issues as it relates to the electric utility. The other thing is, thank you to Jim for the quick overview of the capital plan. And I know it's something I pushed for years ago that we get the roads going early in the year for getting good pricing. A couple things I think, though, you do need to consider. First is we're all walking a lot more, and one of the things I've noticed is the serious disrepair of a lot of the sidewalks on some of our main thoroughfares, including Park Avenue heading into town. So I think as we start to consider how much money we're spending on roads, we should also start to think about shifting some of those dollars over to our sidewalks and better upkeep of them. The other thing, something I pushed the years I was on council, is to make sure that in the years where we're struggling with the capital financing, that we make sure that we cover the areas that are not as visible in this town. And that includes the sanitary and the stormwater, as well as the electric distribution and our water. I noticed that a couple of those line items were down significantly for this year. And I think that's one of those things that we have to make sure that they're getting their fair share of the money. And that, in many cases, means the first dollars, not the last ones. So as you guys start to consider the capital budget for next year, I'd ask you all to consider those points as you look at just how the capital dollars are going to get allocated in 2021. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Pat. And yes, we are looking at the new world of electric and what it means to our grid and our systems. And so will be a lot of that work happening next year. I will throw out one of my, as you heard earlier, liquor license reform is one of my pet battles. Another one is the fact that the county is not committed to complete streets. They still are in the world of thinking our streets are rural and they don't need curbing and more importantly, sidewalks. So they're just doing paving and streets for cars. And Park Avenue would be an example of when any improvements on any county roads in towns such as Madison and our immediate town surrounding area should be done in a complete way. So I think I was talking to Bob Bogle this morning about that, that we will continue to fight that battle with the county. So thank you for bringing those and other topics up, even in the infrastructure you don't see. And now, Joe B.
Can you hear me? Am I heard?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Well, I just called to echo what
Name and street.
Yeah. Joe B. Joe Baviarchuk, 5 Beach Avenue, Madison, New Jersey. Thank you, Mayor, for reminding me. Same as the President of the United States, Joe B. I just called to, I know also, I remembered that this is Carmela's last council meeting, and I just wanted to call and express my gratitude for all the years of service that Carmela has performed on the Borough Council, and the residents of this great town are deeply indebted to her for all her work and making Madison a great town. So thank you, Carmela.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Now you're gonna make me feel bad.
I hope you get your chair.
Almost.
Yeah. I hope you get your chair. I'll come by once in a while. Maybe I'll just.
There you go.
That's it. All right. Thank you very much, Joe, for taking the time to thank Carmela. And now we'll bring up Claire.
Hi, Claire Whitcomb, 12 Fairwood Road. I'm sorry to be back again. Carmela, I also want to thank you for being our liaison, and Pat Rowe before you. All of these and Maureen have been great liaison, and they've really helped us get to where we are now. I have a super fast question regarding paving. Kathy and I had been trying to meet with Bob Bogle, or we talked to him. Anyway, there's a loose strand about how to figure out if pervious paving can be part of any paving plan. And Kathy is the better one to speak about this, but Cook Avenue has those center meridians. Could we do any green infrastructure in there? Can we do any pervious paving? I don't know whether it's too late for 2021, but it's just a question to raise, is how do we build in that kind of thinking as we make our planning decisions? And I'm also super curious as to whether there's any energy efficiency at Hartley Dodge, and if there is, if we can publicize it. And that's the, and then just a huge thank you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Claire. And yes, we'll get Bob Bogle to be looking at pervious paving, and certainly the design for Cook Plaza parking lot is going to add some a little more green in there, which there's virtually none right now. So that will be an improvement. And we will track as we take care of this beautiful building, the what we can do to make it more energy efficient. Certainly having walls that seem to be 30 feet thick must help for some. And as a reminder of the public, with our last renovation, prior to that last renovation, the air conditioning was run by not geothermal, but by using water from the water system and dumping tens of thousands of gallons in the drain per hour in the summertime. So there are some things that were done in the past and we'll continue to do for this great building. We have a hand up. Peter Freed. Thank you. Come on.
Mute there. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
This is Peter Freed, 38 Morris Place. And thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak. Everything that Kathy and Claire talked about earlier was an incredible team effort. And Kathy cited the borough employees. Just a quick shout out to 4 special borough employees who were a lot of help in gathering scads of data that we had to gather for the footprint. This is Bob Duffy over at DPW, and Kevin O'Keefe and Donna Carey in Borough Hall, the electric utility, and Jim Trimble, who literally took me on a guided tour of various electric and gas meters one day. It was just it was fun, actually. I want to thank all of them and all the other borough employees, some of whom I probably don't even know about, who helped with all the data gathering. That's all I wanted to say, and thank you very much to Pat Rowe for his remarks on the electric utility. I second those. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you for all your work you've been doing on behalf of this. You're greatly appreciated. And seeing no more hands, I now close this part of the meeting. And we now, there are no introduction of ordinances because this is supposed to be our last meeting of the year, but as we said before, may not be. So will the clerk please read the consent agenda resolutions?
Consent agenda resolutions will be enacted with a single motion. Any resolution requiring expenditure is supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any resolution requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All resolutions will be reflected in full in the minutes.
What we'll do is Carmela will pull the flag resolution,
Yeah.
that one separate.
Okay. Okay, which one is that? That's
300.
R300, yeah.
Yeah, 300.
300, okay.
I have to make it hard for you this meeting.
So I move consent agenda resolutions. 293-2020 to resolution 299-2020, and then resolution 301-2020 to resolution 303-2020.
Second.
Any discussion or any further ones that need to be pulled? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Ms. Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich.
Yes.
Right, can I have a motion for resolution 300?
I'll move it.
Second.
And this resolution of the Borough. Resolution of the Borough of Madison adopting new Borough Madison flag. And as part of it, I think Michael can bring up the, and this is coming from a recommendation from the DDC, and there was also to the DDC a full presentation on the fact that flags are not banners, they are actual flags, and so they shouldn't have a whole lot of words or even any words. And so this is the proposed flag after several other versions that were shared. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale,
Actually, I don't understand it, but I'll say yes. I'll talk to Lisa about it. Yeah.
Ms. Bailey,
Yes.
Ms. Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich.
Yes.
All right, there is no unfinished business. Approval of vouchers. Will the clerk please read the voucher?
Yes, for the current fund, $347,275.36. For the general capital fund, $32,986.12. For the electric operating fund, $363,370.90. For the water operating fund, $31,800.61. For
Mayor,
the trust, $48,580.
Sorry.
And 16 cents. The total is $823,960.15.
Okay, now I'll move approval of the vouchers.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Vitale,
Yes.
Ms. Bailey,
Yes.
Ms. Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Ms. Ehrlich.
Yes.
All right, the only thing under new business is Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, and to all happy holidays. And we're looking forward to, we may see you in the last week of December, but otherwise we'll see you in the new year on the reorganization meeting. Looking forward to 2021.
Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Everybody.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Carmela, go ahead and you second it.
I'll second. Yeah, yay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Supposed to be Carmela's?
Yes.
I didn't know that. No, see, I'm still learning, obviously.
No, it was, that was, that was a call
Just
to
a
line
little
of scrimmage.
fun.
I just threw
He's
that in
getting
there.
at me.
Don't worry, you
Don't
had
worry
it
about
right.
it, Rachel.
Nice. All right. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank
Be
you.
well, everybody.
Thank you.